Roccat really is on quite the meteoric rise, and this keyboard right here is a massive flex. Good afternoon and welcome to Turbo Tortoise Tech. If you're new here, I'm Reese of the 4-piece variety of WookiE XXXL. In front of me is the Roccat Pyro. This is a full mechanical, full RGB backlit keyboard with a wrist rest and an aluminium backplate and all of the media keys and kickstands and things you would expect from a premium keyboard that sells right now for $85. Even at its normal price of 100 USD, that would be about 1,500 Rand locally. I haven't seen a keyboard that well priced in about a decade for what this is. This is unequivocally the best value keyboard you can buy right now. So now that I've made the statement, let me substantiate it and show you why I say that. So we're starting off with the wrist rest, which detaches from the bottom of the unit by simply leaning it forward, which is quite nice. And then to put it in, it's literally just a line up and a clip. It is a lot easier when I can see what I'm doing now. Here we go. The underside of the keyboard as well is really nicely set up. It's got rubberizing on the palm rest as well as the keyboard, as well as the kickstands, and even when those are flat, even behind those. So they put rubberizing in all of the critical spaces that you want so that it's not going to flit around your desk underneath your hand. The cable coming out of the top of the keyboard is a standard 1.8 meter, and it is the rubberized type, which I know for mouse and that sort of stuff is horrible. But for the keyboard, I'm actually okay with it because it's not a moving part, as we've just discussed, with all the rubber that's there to hold it in place. There are 5 shared media keys across the top of the keyboard, which are on your F9, F10, F11, and F12, and your F8, which is a mute as well. And then possibly the most satisfying scroll for audio I've ever had in my entire life. It is a free scroll though, so don't play with it while you're on the phone and put your headset back on and blow your ears off. Then you have the most important piece of the keyboard, which is the switch at the end of the day, isn't it? They're using TTC again, which I'm actually massively impressed with over here. These are a 2mm actuation, 4mm travel switch with a 45G activation force. It feels really good, really silky smooth, and the noise and the audio and stuff that comes out of the switch is by far some of the best that I've gotten out of box without having to lubricate the switch. The way that the switch hits the bottom of the travel range and stuff, it's quite satisfying. And the feel of these switches are pretty much the best outside of Cherry that I've ever used. I've used Gatorins, I've used all kinds of switches from like basically 5 different manufacturers, and beyond the ones that are, there is a brand that makes their switches in-house, which is really good. But as a default switch, like a Cherry MX or something like that, these TTCs are by far the best after Cherry that I've used, and they're properly competitive with Cherry. I mean, the Vulcan 141 had the optical mechanical red switch, and that was very good, so I'm actually not all that surprised that this was as good as it is. Stabilizers and stuff are quite nicely set up. Noise from the spacebar is minimal. It's not, there's no metal shake in any of the stabilizer keys, so that's quite nice. Let's just quickly jump over to an audio test. I'll do the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog 3 times over so that you can hear exactly what I'm talking about. Now getting onto the frills and the fuss, the software and the RGB and all of those added on things. The Roccat software is still pretty much some of the best software that I've ever used for peripherals, if not the best. The features and customization are absolutely fantastic, extremely broad. You can do macros in there, and their Easy Shift is one of the best setups that I've ever seen. So with just hitting shift on the keyboard, then all of the keys can be remapped with that shift. So if it would be a shift J or a shift K or something to that effect, then you could have a macro on that instead of taking out the actual key, so your key can still function normally. That's really good. Of course, it will mean that when you're typing, if you do capitalize that letter, then maybe some funky things will happen. The RGB function is super good as well. Nicely customizable, enough that I wasn't left wanting. And honestly, the AMO setting, which is what it's in now, is the best of the settings. Because as you type, you would have maybe seen in the typing video, as you type, you generate like feedback for the lighting system, and then it grows and swarms and changes colors based on your usage environment, and it's extremely pleasant the way that it does the color swapping and changing and stuff. I'm a color wheel kind of guy. That's generally what I use. I do like the RGB effect, and this, just look at it. It's so soft and pleasant the way that the AMO functions. So overall, honestly, looking at that full feature set, this is pretty much the best keyboard you can buy for this amount of money. There is nothing that springs to mind that's even close. At $85 it would be a local price of about 1,200 Rand. Even at 100 USD, which is the normal price, it's on sale obviously at the moment on Roccat, they're doing a special on it. Even at 100 USD, they would make a local price of about 1,500 Rand, throw in an extra 200 Rand for good old ANC VAT of 15%. So yeah, like really good. This for me is as close to a 10 out of 10 product as I've reviewed in the last 6 months. Honestly, everything has had like a small thing. On this one, the small thing is the way that those legs attached into the bottom of the keyboard over here. I'm not a biggest fan of that because it's plastic. It's quite a thin piece of plastic as well. It does look like if you're rough with it, that might break. That would be the only thing I would caution you on with this keyboard. Everything else, build quality is phenomenal. Roccat is really back. This is not like a wannabe, like, oh hey, this is coming back to market. We've seen it a lot of times with ancestral brands that have history and fandom, etc. behind them. They make a comeback to market and then it's kind of like, meh. This is not meh. If this was in TKL, I would buy one tomorrow. I would do that and replace my current Cherry MX Red setup with this, just because of that value. You're getting everything like, say, less 300 to 400 Rand when compared to other brands. And it's also got a 2-year manufacturer warranty. So they're pretty confident in this product. If anything, this experience with Roccat and their comeback to market has restored my confidence in their brand massively. Anyway, that's all I have for you in this review. If you have enjoyed it, please hit us up with a like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the flip side.
Take your time, let me know when you're ready.